quick thing. While you talk to Rich Preston, I wonder if I just go around this part of the yard and just get a few general shots. Okay, just within this part.
Just find out the horses.
Right,
Don't get
right.
too close.
Okay, so just hold on, I'll stay within this area.
Yeah.
Thank you. That used to be faster.
All right.
There.
All right, yeah? Yeah. Right.
Once again, you look like quite a strong looking team going to Cheltenham. Do you want to start with sort of chew down the champion hurdle 5 that we just sort of seen there?
Yeah. We'll probably have a game in the yard. We always do something like that and sort of name the order they finish in. But I suspect nobody will get it right and I'll get the prize. No, I mean, you can't, you know, they're all in good form. I mean, Fuzzy Raffles starting at that, we weren't going to get a win counted anyway in that ground. Anybody heard anything? We were trying to get them to move it to Kempton. But while I'm here, I can't be dealing with the BHA. That was an idea. I hope they might play ball. But he'd only run if it was very good ground. I might get a few dry days, I don't know. Otherwise, I'm perfectly happy to go down the racecourse gallop route with him. Pentland Hills would have a racecourse gallop. He has had you probably read it in various places, but it hasn't sort of seemed to be too mentioned in that we have actually cauterised his palate since Haydock. Now that isn't because we're hearing any noises. I doubt it'll make any difference.
Right.
But there's just something there. Both times he's looked at me to come to win his race, and then I don't think he's done anything wrong really. Maybe just in very bad ground, which it's been both times. You know, he hasn't finished off as well as it looks he's going to. So we have cauterised it, in that they can be what we call silent noises, and you don't hear anything, and it just sort of feels a little bit like that. That, you know, maybe he's just not getting enough at the end. So it might help him. It almost certainly make no difference whatsoever. But it's just an effort to try and make sure that everything's in place.
He wasn't really finishing his races, was he?
Well, was he or wasn't he? I don't know. I mean, at Cheltenham, I could certainly excuse him. It was his first run, bad ground. He came to win his race and he didn't quite get up the hill first time out.
Yeah.
So that you could certainly excuse. You'd have to say at Haydock, you thought he was going to do it. You know, he'd come there so easily.
Yeah.
It was a bit disappointing that he actually just got caught.
Yeah.
But, you know, he still ran a very good race and it was horrible ground.
Yeah.
So
Try Cheltenham. He travels so strongly in the early part of his race.
he wants to switch off a little bit more. I think we'll drop him in a bit more than we have done. Trouble is, he's such a good jumper that he's taking you there the whole time. Yeah, he's a bit like poor old Buvardere, who I'm glad to say is in good order and prepared and about to go home to Ireland, which is good. He could go. He's got a lot of growing over of the hoof to go, but he's got all summer to do that.
And back for next year with him. Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Excellent.
That's Pentland Hills. Court Lord, I just thought he was a little bit flat there at Sandown the other day, I must admit. Just freshening up, he is too. And he'll, you know, as he won the international, he goes around. He's proven one thing: he's not totally right-handed biased. You know, he can go left, so he'll join in. And then the two mares. Verdana, as you know, ground is crucial to her. You know, it has got to be. It's never going to be good. Is Simon here?
Yeah.
Simon.
What's the ground, Simon?
Combination of soft and heavy.
Verdana Blue can stay at home then. Yeah. Verdana, yeah, I mean, if it was soft heavy, she'd be, I don't know, you'd seriously have to think again. And she's in very good form, and as is Epiton. They're both very, very well. Grateful. They do quite a lot of work together, actually, so they seem well.
Epison has had quite a quiet season. Is that on purpose?
Yeah, there was just nowhere much to go. She started there, and then I didn't really feel after Christmas that she needed to do anything else, except for running one of those. No, I was never really going to. She'll go to Kempton. And Verdana Blue, she's had a quiet season because it's been hasn't been her ground, and she'll probably have to go. I mean, you've got Liverpool, but that's 2.5. I wouldn't be surprised if either of them got it, but At the moment, they look like 2 milers. Every time Verdana Blue go back to the flat then.
Just with Epitana, obviously, I know she was one of your leading hopes going into last year, weren't she? And she's disappointed. But this year, she seemed to be taking her form to a new level, wasn't she? First at Newbury, then at Kent.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was there were 4 or 5 that didn't turn up like they should have done. And I would have said with all of them, it was probably through vaccination. I know it was with 3, because I knew we were struggling here. You know, it really had affected them. And I would think she fell into the same square. I've read in places that, she said she could only go on flat tracks and things like that. Well, just because she didn't run very well at Cheltenham the only time she's been there, I don't think. I mean, sure, if it doesn't work again, I'll have to agree with those that have concluded that she's any good round Kempton or something. But at the moment, I have no worries.
So you're sort of saying you're pretty confident the track's going to hold no sort of...
Well, I don't think so. You're right in saying that this time last year, I was thinking she was, for the mare's novice, I thought she was one of our sort of best chances. And it was very disappointing. But I could name 4 or 5 others that definitely were affected by it. I mean, luckily we found 4 winners, but, there were 1 or 2 that definitely didn't perform, and I know they didn't because it was because of it.
Was she grouped him with Santini with those 2 jabs?
Yes, they were all. The whole lot were.
Yeah.
But Santini, he was amazing last year. We'll get on to him, but I mean, a whole lot of them were. OK, Corral, Santini. Santini didn't affect him. No, he had other problems as well, but they were all. The Santini was meant to run in the Reynolds now.
I know she's shortest in the betting Nicky, out of your horses, but do you see her as your sort of number 1 sort of bullet going into the race?
I think they've all got there. I mean, they wouldn't go there if I didn't think they were realistic. I mean, Verdana would obviously be not the problem, but she is pretty ground dependent. But if it's good, normally we're assuming. I don't think he's going to be watering this year, do you?
No.
We hope we'll get a nice. It's great to have 3 nice weeks. I hope all these wretched storms are out of the way and we can get some sort of sense into the whole thing, because the place is underwater. I mean, that doesn't matter, but the gallops we've got some lovely ground that we haven't used for years, but our best ground. I mean, we'll start using that with these horses the next 3 weeks.
So just going back to it, obviously, if Epitana is shortest, you wouldn't be surprised to perhaps see one of your others sort of finish ahead of her.
Well,
I know you've been a big supporter of Pentland Hills, haven't you?
I do think Pentland's, he worked very well on Saturday. He appears in great form. As I say, I don't suspect the wind, by cauterising him. They call it a wind up. It's not a wind up. It's non-invasive and it takes 5 days. But it's just a tightening a screw basically. It's just a little screwdriver and just tightening up the muscles in the palate. I could live with all of them. I mean, if you only had 1, you'd still be going in there with a hoping. Yeah. But you might as well go in there with 5 and have 5 with a hoping.
With Fusel, roughly, did anything come to light after that?
No, he was very disappointing at Kempton. That's why I would have liked to have run again. Yeah. But he's not the flashiest of them as workhorses anyway. Because I remember when he ran in the Adonis this time last year, I didn't actually fancy him a lot. And nor did I do it. Then he had that problem. We got him back to Punchdown, and I didn't even think he was working very well then. But he still comes out, so he can certainly come back into it.
Keeping with the Tuesday, Nicky, obviously we've seen what Shishkin's done so far in his last 2 starts, and he looks a bit of a unique and special talent.
Shishkin would be, you'd like to think, would be one of our best chances. He's looked very good so far. He's a genuine 2-miler, and it's a good race to. It's a nice race to win if you can, because it gets the ball rolling and you can.
The pressure's
off a bit, and you suddenly you can get some confidence going, and you can believe that it's all right. So it's always nice to. I think he is very good. He's looked very good in his bumper and 2 novice hurdles. He's looked very efficient. Obviously, I don't know which way Chantry House will go. He's in the 2 and the 2.5. We'll have to see, because then actually Joe Donnelly he's got Shishkin but I was talking to him before the grey horses, and one of you great scribes will be able to remember its name.
Stereo for long.
Okay, well done. You're got it. Well, just testing. And I said to him on the morning before that when I was talking to him about Shishkin, it was before that race, and he said, oh, Willie thought he was a 3-miler, but he was running him over 2. So, yeah, but Willie did say himself on the television, didn't he, afterwards? He said, I thought he was a 3-miler, but he's going to run in the 2. But Joe's perfectly happy. I said, but don't you want to split them up? I'm trying to push Willie to 2.5. But, then we'd have to take him on with something else there, so it wouldn't make any difference, really. But Joe said, Jeff, I'd be delighted to finish first and second, so if you do, hope so, we'll finish in the right order. And it'll be the same with JP. He's obviously got brother John, and Chantry House would be his. I'm sure he's got others, and so have we. That will go there, and I mean, I'm pretty sure Shishkin won't be our only runner in the. As you understand.
Buzz, son of Camas, Glean, Fred, Al Hart, any of them?
Yeah, all possible. So, I mean, son of Camas and Buzz are in the Dovecot on Saturday.
Okay.
Glyn would certainly want 2.5. Al Hart, I want to run him this week. I think he's quite good.
And Fred?
I don't know what Bromley's thinking. You're going to ask him. He does all that.
How good could Shishkin be, Nicky? Could he be the next sort of big sort of
Well,
flag bearer?
he can. Yeah, he's got to prove himself. Yeah, this will be a very, a much bigger test than he's had. But he's been visually very impressive in all 3 starts. He doesn't seem to lack experience. He races very professionally. And then you can press a button and it works, which is sort of what makes life easy for him.
That gear change looks pretty phenomenal, doesn't it? I mean,
It's good, yeah. Yeah, as I say, you can press a button, and it, say, hope it still works. Chantry House is a very solid horse. He's lovely. They both are. They're 2 great big. They're both chasers, so I suspect. Next year that's probably what they will be doing.
would you like to give him Chantry House more of a sort of test, how to go in a sort of slightly better race than what he's contested so far? Obviously you've had to go a listed race with Shishkin, haven't you?
Yes, Chantry, yeah, but I don't think so.
No?
I think he's done what he did. He was very green at Cheltenham, very green, and yet when he went to Newbury the other day, he was just foot perfect the whole way. He travelled like a good horse, he jumped like a good horse, and he went away like a good horse. I mean, they weren't that bad. I agree with you, they weren't probably as, it wasn't, they haven't run in the group races, but those are the races that have fallen into their sort of timing. So it was not trying to keep them away from anything, it's just trying to, races are races. I mean, this is where they need to face the test, not in trials, if you like. I mean, it only shows what happens if you have a, you saw poor old Surname and Altior, what that race at Ascot in November did to both of them. Absolutely. It was first time out, and you go and do that sort of thing first time out. We weren't ready, and Paul was, still absolutely, he obviously told its tail on Surname as well, I imagine.
And the track for Shishkin as well, obviously we've seen him sort of dominate on these sort of flat tracks, and that, that's going to hold no...
I'll gallop him downhill if you want me to, but I'm working backwards down your weather. No, you'll be fine. Yeah. I mean, again, with those sort of horses, they've got they're great movers, but they've got great balance. And when Altior went there, he actually had gone to Cheltenham once before, hadn't he?
Yeah,
Before his Supreme, he ran in a novice there. Yeah. But I mean, again, I don't think it worries him.
This handicap chase on the Tuesday, anything particularly earmarked? Champagne Platinum?
Yes.
Champagne Mystery?
Champagne Platinum, yes, he's got to creep in. Don't know that he will.
What have you made of him this year, Nick?
Sorry?
What have you made of him this year?
Well, it helped him going up half a mile the other day. Yeah. He might not get in, in which case he'd go Brown Advisory.
Caribbean Boy was good at the weekend?
Yeah, but he's only had 2 runs over fences.
Oh, okay.
So he won't be in it.
Precious Cargo?
Yeah. I mean, if it was very soft, probably he could go Arkle.
Oh, okay.
But he comes into that quite well. The other horse I need to get a run into this weekend is Pistol Whipped, to get him in. And Champagne Mystery had a run last week. He had to have his third run this week. I had to give him a run over the wrong trip and everything, but that's all right. Because I just had to get the run in because we've only got till next Sunday to get their third runs.
Mr. Fisher, do you know which way he's going to go?
I would have thought 2.5. I'd be surprised if we didn't.
He looked pretty quick the other day.
He did. I mean, he is quick. He's quick here too. I mean, we'll definitely have a look at the Arkle. I mean, I don't know, there doesn't seem to be anything in England blatantly obvious. Again, you might find the 2.5's a stronger race, in which case we'd drop him back. I wouldn't be frightened to. I wouldn't.
A late decision.
It could be. It could be, yeah.
He doesn't want bad ground, but
He wants the best ground you can get him.
So if it was easy ground, could you think about him coming back in trip then?
You might do, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Could James keep the ride, or could James Bowen ride, or do you think Nico would be?
I would have thought Nico would, yes. But I don't know, we haven't even got that far yet.
Wednesday?
Yeah, go on, why not?
Altior?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, all going well at the moment. No, he's in good form. He's just really had a couple of quiet weeks since Newbury. Not quiet, but just sort of ticking over. We'll start just to tick along a couple of schools. I very seldom school him, but I think he just enjoys it. And like it was, a headline came out before his last run that said that he was like he'd done some gallop that was so fantastic that even Frankel couldn't keep up with him. What it was meant to say, over fences. Frankel wouldn't be able to go with him over fences because he'd have to miss them out.
This is a horse that's going to win the Royal Hunt Cup for you, Nicky.
What?
He's going to win the King's Stand, isn't he?
Apparently, yeah. He'd win on the flat. He would.
So what do you take from the Newbury races? We've still got the great Altior, good as ever, haven't we?
Well, I mean, if you take it as his first run of the year, which you have to virtually,
Yeah.
that was perfect.
Yeah.
So if we were coming into the Tingle Creek or something like that, you'd say we're absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
That the disaster was the first run of the year, was in the wrong place at the wrong time in the wrong ground, over the wrong trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have made a worse job of it if I tried. But like I've always said, that to be honest with you, if it wasn't for there'd been so much hype about the race, and there'd been such a build-up, I should have really been the spoil sport and taken him out on the morning of the race.
But you were under quite a bit of pressure.
But you couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to leave it as a walkover, and Ascot weren't going to be very happy with me, and nor was the rest of the world. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have run him, and paid the penalty.
Yeah.
And it took him until Newbury to get over it. And to fairness, I mean, obviously the most important thing was that Sarname was all right on Saturday. That was the real headline, because nothing would have been worse if he had been. But I think it showed. I think Paul says the same thing, that that was a bruising race we had at Ascot, and we were both having our first runs of the season, and you wouldn't normally have such a head-to-head. You'd have had a prep race. If it had a run before it, it'd have both been all right, I'd say. But we were both obstinate people, so neither of us were ever going to stand down. So, and it was you couldn't have done because everybody was looking forward to it.
Unlike Surname, who's got a scar on him, your horse hasn't, has he?
Yeah, but I mean, he was exhausted.
Yeah,
And even
but
at
now-
Christmas, there was
yeah.
no question
Yeah,
of him.
yeah.
I couldn't go anywhere with him. Then we had this abscess on his wither. That was a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pain in his neck as well. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But it was a pain in mine. And anyway, that's all done and dusted.
It looks a red hot champion chase.
It's a very good champion chase. I think it's, if you even go back to Sprinter's years when he was starting 3-1 on and things like that, there's going to be no odds-on jobs going around here. It's going to be a seriously good race. But we're in good shape. He's certainly fresh and well now. And again, the better the ground, the better we'll be. the other horses probably handle softer ground better than we do. But, you know, he's won in soft ground.
Does the fact that, you know, Deafy the Saw, we know you sort of can see how that 2.5 miles, does that sort of concern you in any way? And if you sort of, where stamina was to come into play?
Well, he could still supplement him from the Ryanair, you know.
Is it a little bit of a worry though that
Well,
Deafy
we think we stay anyway. I mean, you know, I don't think they'll go too quick for it. They won't go too quick for it. No, I mean, say the good ground. If they go very, very quick in a bog, it might help us. But no, they won't. They won't. He'll lie up with it. You probably just don't help his. You know, you see how he can change gear when you want it. You have to ask the question, and you'll get the answer. And as soon as Nico asked the question, he got the answer very quickly. It was good. But he had a, you know, there was just a momentary out when he looked if he might be just sort of, you know, everybody said, oh, he wasn't just travelling. And then all of a sudden, but he had taken a blow there. And that's what he was entitled to. I mean, because that was his first run of the year. And he came and did it well.
That finish, he's got his some weapon.
Yeah, he's got it, and it works. I mean, even in, you know, a couple of times he's jumped the last year, and it was like, whoops, and then off he's gone. He's clearing away at the end.
Is he a 2-miler forevermore now, do you think?
I don't say so. I'd love to go to Aintree. I would.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. But he's not a horse that can do that, I don't think, because we wanted to go there a couple of years ago, and he definitely hadn't recovered from Cheltenham. And he's good at telling, more than anything, Nico, because he'll ride him sort of once a week, and you know, he knows when he's absolutely on song and when he's 10 degrees under, and you've got to go by that. And the interesting thing that year was that Mike Bite had the hardest race of the lot in the Gold Cup, and it was the 4-week gap that year. And Mike Bite was back for more, and he told us he was, and he was brilliant at Aintree. Altior definitely hadn't. Oh, we waited for the celebration chase at Sandown, and he was back to his best again. But you've got to let him tell you where he is, and if he says he's ready, then I'd love to go to Aintree and try him over 2.5 round there.
Yes.
And then we can go ahead. But no, as I say, it's just that Ascot went wrong first time, and therefore we've never had the chance to try it again.
Yeah.
There was no way. We had to come back to 2 miles, because I mean, to come back to the Ryanair was going to be really rather, you know, it either had to be King George and say, okay, did you stay? If you had stayed in that, would we be talking about the Gold Cup? I don't know, but you know, it didn't go that way. So the obvious thing was to come back to 2.
Would winning the champion chase this year with him, Nicky, mean more given the sort of season he's had and all the publicity around the season he's had?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we had it. You know, we've been through all these years with Sprinter, and it was much the same. The pressure was on him, or on us, really, because everybody just expected him to win. As you're right to say, this year's race is going to be very, very competitive. So it should be. So it's going to be a big battle. It'll be a big game.
Can he get away with one of those flat spots again in this sort of field, though?
Well, possibly. Yeah, he'll need to be sharp. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will need to be at his best. He'll have to be at his best.
I mean, is there ever a time those champion chases when you thought the home turn does seem to hit that and think, hang on,
It does.
it's not going to come out this time?
But then he does stay on very well. But I mean, I know definitely to say it's the same. I mean, he's been seeing his races out very well at the finish, hasn't he? And genuinely stays. So, you know, we've got to be thereabouts with him, whatever happens at the last.
Where are we with Champ?
Champ's in very good form. He's in very good form. He'll have a race course gallop. We've been doing lots of schooling. He's been great. Yeah, very good. He's in cracking form.
It's a pity to have to come into it off a fall, like you had the last time. Would you like to run him again?
I would if I could have done, but we ran out. I was going to go to Kelso.
Right.
That was off, and then we were going to. There was one race left at Chepstow. Well, that was hardly the place. And that was 3 miles. 3 miles in Chepstow ground was hardly a way to. Was a way to bottom one, not get one ready. And I just ran out of races. So, and you'd hardly want to run in the Pendle this weekend. So, and I mean, he is going to go and jump some fences away, yes. But no, he's been in great form. He schooled last week. He did a bit of schooling indoors. Barry schooled him in Thompson Fences last week. And yeah, he is going to have an away day as well.
He had a sore shoulder, didn't he, after that?
He did in the stables after the race, but amazingly, Sunday morning, trotted up and down here, sound as a pound, and has been ever since, luckily.
So I mean, there's no sign that stayed with him in any way, mentally or physically?
I don't think so, no. No.
And what do you make of him?
Ground. Yeah. I was horrible, he couldn't get out of it. He's not the most robust looking, he's not like Champ or Santini or any of those, the great big strong horses. Yeah. He isn't a robust horse. I think he couldn't jump out of it. He wasn't jumping because he couldn't jump out of it.
Certainly not one to give up on for the
No.
RSA,
Well, I say, will he go for the RSA?
I wouldn't see any reason why not to. I mean, you've got to write off the run. Up till then, he's done nothing wrong. But that just was too soft for him.
Do we have Dames of Company for the Coral Cup?
She'll be amongst them, yeah.
Yeah, anything else?
I imagine.
Sort of
Yeah, but there's plenty in there. I think it's about 12.
might bite cross country.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Going to have a practice in a minute. Yeah. Well, we were just messing around the other day trying to get his sort of mojo back. And I said to Dicko, we'd finished schooling. I said, right, hop on my bike. Now, first, we've got some of those plastic hurdles, that they go and jump there, he's never seen them. Then turn around and come straight back up over the fences. Then turn left, and there's all sorts of cross-country telegraph poles and ditches and all sorts of spooky things. You want to go inside?
Okay.
Yeah. Jumped up onto the cheese wedges. So you can probably tell me why they're called cheese wedges, because I can't really see any cheese in it. Anyway, he jumped up onto the top of it, and you have to jump a hedge off it. Anyway, he completely and utterly refused to come off. So Darryl sat up on the top, said he got this horse up the top of this sort of great platform, and the horse says, no, I'm not jumping off here. So what am I going to do? Darryl can do, when he's schooling, you always know where he is on a foggy morning. You can hear Darryl.
That was a decent sort of step back in the right direction at Newbury for Mike Bite.
It was, yeah. And that's all I'd been doing was playing around like that. He hadn't trained with the other horses at all. He'd just been doing his own thing. So he went off jumping around the place. He absolutely loved it.
Well, Mike might go have a practice at Cheltenham.
Yeah, you have to practice.
Yeah.
It's in the rules.
Yeah.
I'd like to practice twice.
Yeah.
When will he go? Will it be this week he goes there then, Nicky?
I talked to Simon when we got 2 weeks. I'd like to go twice, and then later on, probably beginning of next week, because we're going to have gallops Tuesday and next Tuesday, and we've got quite a few away days to get sorted.
Just keep with the Wednesday, going back to the novice as well. Is Glyn likely to be the one for the Ballymore then? Is he going to be...
Is that?
Glyn?
Could do.
Might...
Yeah. Only run once though.
Okay.
It was good though, wasn't it?
He did look good, yeah. Yeah. No, we'll just see with him.
And Palladium, Fred Windsor.
Yeah,
Tough ask.
definitely.
You
And Fraser Island.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They'd be the obvious two for that. Nothing in the Triumph.
Have you got that?
No.
Gran Roy not going there?
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, he's won one hurdle race around Faken, hasn't he?
Nothing in the bumper.
No, I'd hate the race. Flint to Sacra might go to Aintree.
Thursday's a bit of a quieter day, isn't it, Nicky? Compared to sort of, in terms of sort of big guns and that, isn't it? I mean, you got
What's Thursday?
Is Lammy going for the stairs hurdle?
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
William Henry in that as well.
Doesn't stay 3 miles.
Okay.
Do you have anything for the Rhino?
Janica.
I should have asked Bromley again. I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, it sounds a bit quiet.
These two mares, Floressa and Daphne de Cloy, could they go for the novice?
Floressa, definitely. Daphne Clow could, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. She got, she did win the other day. She wasn't very impressive. I mean, she's got a bit to do. Floressa, definitely. Yeah.
What did you make of Floressa at Doncaster?
She should have been second. She ran a very good race. Winner's a good mare. I think she's got a great chance. Yeah.
Welsh Saint, Philippa Stamps after the...
Yep. Welsh Saint and
Diablo.
Diablo de Rey, yeah.
He's been a bit of a story, isn't he? Diablo de Rey. Is he the one, was he £300 or £400?
300 euros, I think, yeah.
Uh,
Everybody says you Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Have you been waiting for that race for him then, Nicky? Is that you sort of kept him sort of fresh for that?
He had a run over fences after the hurdle race, but he was so good in that hurdle race. It looked obvious. So I obviously didn't want to run him back over hurdles anymore. He didn't need to go up anymore over that. Better than now.
And just going back well shape at the weekend, obviously, you know, that sort of trip seems to be
That was
his.
perfect.
Yeah.
Just the job. He needed to go up 4 or 5 pounds, so I feel he will. So got the job done. Yeah, it was perfect. I think he'd have a good chance.
Santini.
Huh?
Santini.
Santini, yeah, all good.
Nicky, that's done if you want, right?
Okay, right. We're going to recamp.
It's standing in the wet and the cold, isn't it? Right then, let's hang it in.
Look.
The sausage.
Thanks.
We were Santini as well.
Santini.
Talking about, yeah.
Right, Santini. Where are we?
Well, obviously,
Well, we know he likes Cheltenham. He's run 2 cracking races there. I mean, to be fair, his race in the RSA last year was fantastic because we had a dreadful time with him. Honestly, we were trotting him down outside. We had a problem with his feet. So we've got to avoid all those snakes and ladders. And then Fluvax, he was meant to have a race running the Reynolds down. He'd had no preparation. He hadn't had a racecourse experience. He hadn't had anything. And it was remarkable. At least this time we're coming in. I admit that he was not very impressive at Sandown first time out, and nothing very obvious. We cauterised him after that, and therefore there was no point going King George. Kempton isn't his track. And so we just had to literally wait for with the Cotswold Chase was always where we were going to go, and we'd even decided that way back with Richard, in that should Altior be going the right way. I mean, this was planned all the way back in the summer. Really, what Richard said is, look, we'll go to Sandown, see if we want to go to Kempton, but if Altior has gone the 3 mile road and he's going to finish up in the Gold Cup, then we're going to have to start thinking about jockeys. So we didn't really want to run him until after the King George. So we knew that was out anyway. But we were always aiming at the Cotswold Chase anyway. So and that's where we finished up. And he was very good.
I say you must have been pretty pleased with the run of the Cotswold Chase, and that sort of.
I think it was a good race. I know that Nige thought that Bristol Dubai was, and so did Darryl, because Darryl told me that he thought his horse was really, as good as he can be. And you'd probably say the ground was more Bristol Dumai's ground than it was Santini's ground. But he still did it well, because there'd be a lot of improvement in that. But he's fresh and he's well. He's just starting work again now. I did a bit on Saturday actually. He's not, he's not an Altior at home. Right. But he thoroughly he's a very enthusiastic horse. He's loves his work, loves it.
How much work do you have to get into him?
You need a lot, the more you get into him, the better he is. Loves his schooling and loves his work.
I think you sort of mentioned.
Will he go away for a day as well in somewhere for a gallop?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he needs to. He had a good race at he had a tough enough race at Cheltenham, but it wasn't for him he's come back bouncing.
And his prep last year, Nicky, had quite a few banana skins.
Well, I say he was meant to run in the Reynolds down, which was the week of the flu thing. And I mean, the first thing I did that morning when I heard on the news, or we got a text at 6 o'clock in the morning, because they decided at 11 o'clock that night, hadn't they, what they were going to do. And the text suddenly said that all horses must have been vaccinated within the last 6 months. Well, we don't do that. We were on a different strategy. So I ran down. The first thing I went to do was go and get Santini's passport and see when he was last done. Of course, he had to be done there and then. So that was no Reynolds down. So everything went against us.
He had the foot issue.
Oh, he was lame for weeks. From the Reynolds down to Cheltenham.
And so given what he did at the RSA then, that
was amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
And there doesn't seem to be many, if you've had a smooth run this year, there doesn't seem to be any weaknesses for him going.
Well, I don't think there's any reason for him to have to go abroad. I mean, away.
Yeah.
I don't think Kempton on the all-weather's exactly what he wants to do. It's not his sort of place.
He ticks loads of boxes for a Gold Cup, he stays well.
Well, he stays and he jumps, touch wood, and
Ground doesn't seem to be an issue.
The better the ground, the better he'd be. Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That's why I say it. You could have said at Cheltenham that was Bristol de Mai's ground.
How early on in his career, Nicky, did you feel that he could sort of end up being a genuine Gold Cup contender?
He was exactly the opposite to Altior, if you like. I mean, you knew from day one that it was a rocket. With Santini, to be fair, in his first year that he was here, I said to Richard, honestly, I don't think he's not a bumper horse. And he's not really ready. And he went down to Polygundries and hunted and had a point-to-point. And actually the beagles were here the other day making a lot of noise. Blimey, oh, dear old Santini certainly did wake up. He sparked him. No, I mean it was just a better route in for him. He's not a, he doesn't do Altiors at home, but he does his work. He loves his work, but he needs plenty of it.
Do you think that approach and obviously sort of got him to where he is now, the horse he is today, taking that?
He should be a better horse than he was last year because he's just a great big, lovely big proper old-fashioned type of chaser in the old mould, He's hardy too. Yeah, and I think we just need to. Well, like them all, they need a good run for the next 3 weeks. That's all we asked for. It was like Charlie. What it was that somebody said to me on the way to the races on Saturday. How you're coping with the pressure? I said I wasn't 10 minutes ago, and Charlie Morlock had sent me a text message to say that Fixed Sun and a couple of others had been to Fakenham on Saturday, but I hadn't seen them out before I left to go to Ascot. Charlie sent me a text, said Fixed Sun okay, Champ Mystery lame. Nothing obvious. Champ lame. He was sound as a pound this morning. What's wrong with him? What? Right, I've been doing my head in. Champ lame. Champ Mystery lame. Of course, it was Champagne Mystery who'd finished second at Fakenham, but was slightly lame. I mean, you can expect him to be a bit lame the day after a race, but not champ. Yeah, right.
Of the opposition, then. Of the opposition to Santini, is there one that sort of stands out as the one you feel you've got to beat, or?
Yeah, I think it's. You can't. There's none of them you'd discount, really, would you? I mean, good old Diamond. Native River. Mm-hmm. He was good at Newbury. Loves soft ground, toughest old boots. Mm-hmm. And then I suppose it's what Ireland throws at us as well, isn't it? Clan des Obeaux. Not Clan des
Delta Work.
No, but I'm thinking Paul's horses. What's one thinking? King George was.
That's Clan, yeah.
Yeah, Clan des Obeaux, yeah. And Delta Work, right?
Album Photo.
Album Photo, yeah. He's been. Well, he's been off the radar, but I mean, he's
had a quiet sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we do Albert Bartlett, the Cashel Man?
Mm-hmm.
In good ground.
Yeah, he didn't like that much at Bangor the other day.
It was a bit of a farce of a race, wasn't it?
What?
It was a bit of a farce of a race anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, now we've got to go through an appeal to see if we can keep it.
But he strikes you as a sort that should be far better suited to an Albert Bartlett than a muddling race around Bangor, isn't he?
He'll be good. He'll be good. He'll enjoy that. Yeah.
It was a good run behind Time Hill, wasn't it?
Very good. Yeah. Very good indeed. Yeah. No, he'd enjoy it. But better ground is important. That was horrible at Bangor, and it was the right place at the right time to give him a run. But he'd be fresh and back to himself.
What about Valtor? What would he do?
Valtor, Grand National.
Okay, no Cheltenham.
I would have thought not. Yeah.
And nothing in the Triumph?
No, I haven't got a 4-year-old. Well, I've got 2 for the Fred Winter, but you could say Palladium might as well have been. I mean, I saw somebody's ratings last week for the juveniles, and he's about 6th top, and I haven't even put him in.
Quite like a juveniles, Nicky. You usually got.
I know, no, I haven't.
Yeah,
I mean, we,
yeah.
you know, I knew sort of fairly early on that there wasn't a star like it. But having said that, this time last year I didn't know I'd got one either, did I? Because Pentland Hills hadn't even
You're
appeared.
quite good at slipping one in. Quite
Well,
late, aren't
that's
you?
not going to happen this year, I can assure you.
Is it harder getting the French horses for the Triumph? Because
Hmm?
is it harder getting the French horses for the Triumph at the moment? Because there seems to be less of those on the radar.
I just didn't have very many this year. I mean, like, you know, JP had some lovely young horses. There just weren't any 3-year-olds in there. And same with Simon. We've had a couple that, you know, just haven't quite. They've had little niggles that haven't got there. So whether they were good enough or not, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, Corral, what would he do?
I would think straight to the National.
Straight to the National?
I would have thought so. Wouldn't stop him going round a racecourse, but I doubt we'd run him again. You know, everything's going well, so I think we'll just leave it where he is. I mean, at his age, he obviously has had, you know, when he was a younger horse, he used to have problems. He was running once a year for the first 3 years, hence he was a novice chaser at 9. But that was him. But since then, all things being equal, we're getting clean runs.
What about Top Notch, Nicky? What's the... Is he...
Oh, it's probably him.
Is he not right?
Brains, we call him.
Right.
Ryanair, I suppose,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know, he probably will, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Any word on Birchdale?
Yeah, he's going to have to run in a handicap. And Rathhill. Yeah, they're both coming into the handicaps.
We saw him at
I've had to, it's too late to go chasing again now, so we'll run them in handicaps and get next season undergo. Okay. We've had problems, but we're back in that. They're both working well. They'll both go to Kempton. They were both actually going to go to Newbury the Sunday after.
Yes.
You know, but I mean, you couldn't in the wind. The weekend before last, when Storm, whatever she was called, was coming along. And I mean, there was no point in trying to go to Newbury that morning. But they were both going to go there.
No hope is still chasing in time. But
Yeah, well, they're proper chasers. We just had a little niggles all
What trip would they be in, Nicky? Sort of
two and a half.
Yeah, they're all in the mix.
Rathhill's probably just a bit quicker than Birchdale.
Is he beware the bear? Nicky, will you go for the Osmo again?
I think we thought we'd go to the Grimthorpe and then the National. Yeah, that's the plan. Give ourselves a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Hmm?
He's up to about 160 now as well.
Yeah,
isn't he, racing
yeah.
horse?
I mean, they'll be hard, but the National is the objective.
Sounds like you're going to win it this year.
Going to throw enough at it this time. I mean, at least. I mean, some years we've had nothing to even run in it. So at least I think there's 3 that we'll be trying to get there.
Have you given any flash entries to Mr. Coffee after his...
No, I don't know what happened to him. I mean, it was like a... don't know what happened to him. He's perfectly all right here. So we'll just have to... yeah, he's going to have to come out, but it's not going to be Cheltenham.
Right. Could he potentially be more an entry horse then?
Yeah, possibly. I'd like to think that sort of thing. We're just going to have to find a nice race for him somewhere and drop him in and just go to sleep. Put a hood on him and drop him in.
Because it was a complete contrast of 2 races, wasn't it?
Well, it was extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just mad. I mean, Nico said he couldn't do anything with him at all. I mean, admittedly, he went to make the run. We thought we'd just lob along in front. I never dreamt he'd piss off. He doesn't do it at home, so why would he suddenly? I mean, when and piss off, he bloody well did too. I mean, that was the fastest mile ever run round Huntington.
I think it was, wasn't it? You see, he was coming down the straight, couldn't you? It was,
yeah.
Did you have anything set aside for your dad's race?
Struggling, Tienval, sort of annual appearance, and What's Wrong With You, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah. They were 2 good 2-mile handicappers.
Yeah, solid, aren't they?
They're solid, but they're rather exposed. Yeah.
Just going back to the National Hunt Chase, follow the bears in that?
No, you won't.
No, okay,
No.
cool.
Well, it sounds a fab team, Nicky.
Yes.
Overall, you must be delighted with the... You know,
Yeah, there's some, you know, you've got Champ and Mr. Fish as the novice chasers, well, probably the best of them, then Chantry and Shishkin doing the novice hurdles and Casherman. I mean, there's one for everything anyway. Yeah, there's going to be I'm going to throw a lot at it, but depends what sticks, doesn't it?
What do you think your best chance might be? Out of all of them?
I'd love Shishkin to win the first race on the first day, because as I said before, takes the. He's got to be one of the best chances. So you want to make use of your, something like that, and then as I say, once you've got that going, that would be the perfect start.
If he wins, will you challenge Joe Dominic to send all his horses to you?
He's got some very nice horses, actually. He's got another one, but he hasn't actually won yet.
In the champion hurdle, Nicky, where's your eye going to be drawn to first? Which one are you going to start looking at?
That'd be difficult, wouldn't it? I mean, it was. It always is. I mean, but they've got to run. I mean, there is only one champion hurdle, and they're all entitled to be there. You'll just have to. No, I don't know. To be. I can't see anything anyway. So what's the point? I'm not watching. Well, I do, but I pretend I'm watching, but I can't see. So, somebody will tell me what's happening.
So you've got Dickinson 5 in the Gold Cup.
Oh yeah. Pigs might fly.
That will help with the champion trainers title. Is that something on your radar?
Well, everything happened. That sort of has a shape to it after Cheltenham, doesn't it? And depends what happens over those 4 days. Well, that's for later on.
How soon do you start planning for one festival after the previous one?
Well, I'm not going to say the next day, but
No.
you once you get to Christmas, you're probably pretty sure you know where and what you've got.
Yeah.
So you'd be planning for the novices and things. You'd be thinking about what you're trying to do.
But as Cheltenham's grown in stature over, say, the last 20, 30 years,
Yeah.
do you find it now more on the horizon earlier than it would have been when you first started?
Well, of course, it actually starts about 4 years before you even think about it, because when you buy an unbroken 3-year-old, some nice person buys a nice 3-year-old, and which race is he going to run in at Cheltenham? We haven't broken it yet. I mean, do you know what I mean? It does start there.
Sure.
It's all, what's he going to run in?
And when you get to
If
this
I say
stage,
Plumpton, they get the message.
It's a £60,000.
So round about December, you think you know what?
Well, I think at Christmas, New Year, you'd know roughly where you are.
Any
Yeah.
particular horses that surprised you?
Well, if you like, like Pentland Hills, when we were talking this time last year, you hadn't heard of Pentland Hills. You didn't even know he existed. And, he appeared. And to be fair, you didn't know much about Fuzzy Raffles either, because he hadn't appeared. He was to come out in the Adonis. So actually, when we were talking this time last year, you didn't know I had even got a 4-year-old. And actually, we had the 2 best 4-year-olds. But I'd say they've got to jump back, and they will.
I think you mentioned a couple of novices. Did you say Sana Camas is running this weekend? Is he?
Plan was to go Dovecote, yeah.
Okay.
And Buzz.
What run in?
They're both in the
Dovecote,
Dovecote on
okay.
Saturday, yeah.
With Sana Camas, obviously, what was the fallout? Was it the ground at Sandown at Dunham behind Fiddler on the Roof, or?
Yeah, it wasn't very nice. I mean, I don't think he did a whole lot wrong, but I think he's a decent horse.
No, he's sort of previous sort of
Yeah.
runs, he has looked very good.
Yeah, he has.
So
No, he's right up there.
Yeah. So if he was to go do the business, he'd be part of the Cheltenham team.
Yeah, he would,
I
yeah.
think.
Mm-hmm.
And Buzz as well, obviously a bit of a sort of different horse.
I would have thought he might be more of an Aintree horse.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kempton Aintree, I thought might suit. Let's see what's in Kempton first. I haven't sort of only looked, suddenly came up with that one yesterday, and I spoke to him and said, well, we'll have a look.
Has he been quite a natural sort of switching from one code to the other, Buzz?
Very. But he went to Henrietta Knights, and rather like Pentland, some of those, it's a brilliant way to teach those flat horses to jump. And he's loved it. He's very, very good. Palladium, he was the same. They go straight to hens when we buy them off the flat.
She's got a good business there, hasn't she?
She has. She's very good at it, and she doesn't let me have them until they can do it with their eyes shut.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a busy time now, but is there a point just before the festival when all the work's done and you can actually just take a breath for a minute before the meeting starts, or just think, right, hopefully nothing else
I always go walk the course on a Sunday morning and just wander around and think about it. Yeah, no, you don't get much respite from now on, to be fair, but then that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It seems to be as well up for it as ever. Is that?
Yeah, the last month's always that nasty bit, where you're going to read the paper every day, and there's going to be another good horse hasn't, falls by the wayside. You just got to pray, every morning when you when I say trot on every morning when we're walking around the school, you're all right, you're all right, you're all right, you're all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're only just waiting for one
Full
cough,
step,
one
yeah.
sniff, one. I remember it in the days way back with Fred Winter. It was just the same. I mean, he literally, the Cheltenham horses were sort of taken off on their own every day. And you know, they'd pull out early, and we'd start doing. You know, they'd be doing more and more. We just stick to the normal routine. Yes, they will have racecourse gallops, but that's because they, on purpose, they haven't had runs, because I'd rather do it our own way.
Sure.
You know, at our pace with our own men.
But I mean, when Fred was training, he might have 6 or 8 runners at a festival.
Yes.
You might have 25. That's just a logistical.
We're normally sort of 35.
Yeah. I mean, it's the sheer logistics of those 4 days and 35.
So we'd have a 5th day, and then we can spread them out a bit, can't we?
Does it go in? The 4 days go by in a bit of a blur. You just look. If that race doesn't go right, get on to the next one.
Well, you have to, because that's all you could do. And the hardest thing is that you haven't got time. You know, like most days at the races, you have a runner, and then you go and have a drink with the owner and talk about it, and then go on. You know, it's easy. You can't even see your owners there, because it's impossible. You just go saddling one, unsaddling that, and go off to saddle the next. And it's a logistical, not nightmare, but it's a test. Rather was on Saturday when we didn't know whether to go to Wincanton or Haydock with that grey horse. So we sent it down to I sent it off into the littlest box on its own. I sent it down to the junction of the M4 and the M5 to be there at 8 o'clock to find out whether to turn left to Wincanton or right to Haydock. And then that meant another horse box had to come up with Haydock with Welsh Saint on it, because I couldn't afford him to be on that box in case Caribbean Boy went to Wincanton. So, I mean, everybody did brilliantly, but we got them all at a racecourse where they could run.
Having achieved so much at the festival over the years, do you put yourself under more pressure now you've achieved it, thinking, you know, you set the bar mighty high?
I think you just need to, and I say it every year, you know, you'd hate, the dreaded blob would be horrible.
Yeah.
You know, you want to keep it running. We've been very lucky there, and we've had a few surprises, and I think we were lucky to find 4 last year under the circumstances, because we had the gun put to our heads with the vaccination system, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, barring any hiccups like that, you'd be a little bit more confident about what's going to, you know, say, barring hiccups, and it's.
But over the years, has it become easier to handle, or is it the same
No,
from
I
when
think
you started?
if it didn't give you the same buzz every year, you're never going to get complacent about this place.
No, not at
so
all.
you know what it's like. It's bloody hard, and we're all. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's got good horses, and they're winding themselves up as well. They probably wind each other up more than anything.
But generally coping it for you as a person.
Yeah, I'm sort of pretty. You know what it's like.